How are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
This week on Inside Boulder News, buying local food this spring is a critical step towards flood recovery for local farmers. North Boulder celebrates the opening of their very own library, and after 66 years, the Conference on World Affairs continues to spark conversation. Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Ashley Prill. Floodwaters last year caused a lot of damage around the city, but signs of the devastation are hard to find at the 13th Street Boulder Farmers Market. Local farmer and chef Eric Skokan is focused on his resilient and flavorful early season harvest.
This is everything that made it through the winter. So this was all things that you saw in August that survived the flood and then survived the cold and survived the snow. And then this is all the survivors except for this spinach. We lost all of the spinach during the flood. About 5 days after the floods, and we lost all of our spinach. I had a FedEx order of seeds that arrived, and we got on the tractor. We tilled the soil again really quickly, and we got the seeds as soon as we possibly could. It grew really slowly under the snow all winter long. And this is our first harvest of the year, and we lucked out in that sense.
According to Skokan, in a regular year, market farms put out 80% of their expenses before they really start harvesting anything. It's not until the very end of the farmers market in the fall that farms may make a profit or break even. This year, in addition to all of the normal costs like seeds, equipment, and supplies, the farmers have the extra burden of repairing damage done by the flood. So the best way you can support local farms is by dusting off your cookbook and finding your favorite recipe.
The traditional dish is this, sautéed with garlic and then tossed with beans.
Shopping at the farmers market now is critical to keeping the farms operating all the way through the year.
Customers who come in at between 8 and 9 in the morning, they have a great selection, and we sell through almost everything every day.
Skokan started farming to supply his own restaurant with a greater variety of locally grown food. His 130-acre organic farm is leased from OSMP and is able to meet the demands for his restaurant as well as farmers market patrons and CSAs. For more information, log on to blackcatboulder.com. To keep up with the latest information about the Boulder Farmers Market, log on to bcfm.org. Last weekend, the North Boulder community celebrated the opening of a new corner library with an official ribbon-cutting ceremony and mini street fair. Until now, the closest library to North Boulder residents has been the main branch downtown. The 570-square-foot space offers access to popular materials, children's books, Wi-Fi, public access computers, materials return, and pickup for items on hold.
It's been so long in coming to provide services for North Boulder that it's just such an exciting day, and it's taken a community coming together and helping the library not only get the space and have the community engaged, but in helping us decide what services to provide here. And it's such a small space that it's going to be an ongoing relationship of having the community and the local businesses and just seeing what we can do in this little corner library. But it's just a wonderful step in the process, and we're so excited to open it today.
Everybody say books!
Actually, the North Boulder branch library was in the master plan since the mid-'80s. So it's been a concept for a long time, and now it's a reality. But it was really put into place in 1995 as part of the North Boulder Sub-Community Plan. So it's only been 19 years. Sometimes you just have to stay focused, and it takes a little bit longer to get some things, but it's definitely worth the wait.
Information about the Nobo Corner Library hours, location, and parking is available online at boulderlibrary.org. The 66th Annual Conference on World Affairs drew big crowds to the CU campus this week. Lines at the Mackey Auditorium formed more than an hour before the keynote address from the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius. To help keep the event free, even prestigious presenters like Sebelius pay their own way to be part of the conference, like generations of panelists have before her.
It is an honor to follow in the footsteps of some of the past speakers of this conference. An honor, and frankly a little intimidating. As I read through the roster of people who have been part of this event, luminaries like Annie Leibovitz and Molly Ivins, Henry Kissinger.
200 events over 5 days cover topics from the globalization of healthcare.
But in 2014, a drag on one economy pulls down other economies. We no longer have the luxury of not caring as much about what happens to people in other parts of the world.
To technology, spirituality, business, and so on. Boulder resident Maud Huey Kenyon attended her first conference on world affairs over 50 years ago.
It was 1962. I was attending Fort Morgan High School. We had an outstanding history teacher, and she said, Buckminster Fuller is going to be at the World Affairs Conference, you need to come. So my mom took me, who she was also very interested in world affairs, and it just was sort of life-changing. Just kind of gave me, coming from a small rural area, a big global view of the world. I went on to undergrad school at Beloit College and majored in international relations. I was very, very interested in it. Did studies overseas, but coming here was instrumental in that decision as a kid.
Although the conference covers global issues, it also brings attention to issues in the Boulder community right now, like what the needy really need.
1 in 4 of the homeless people in our country are veterans. 40% of all the homeless men are veterans. Every person in this room should be ashamed of that.
Boulder Bridge House Executive Director Isabel McDevitt was the moderator for the panel.
It's no secret. We have a lot of challenging problems here. I mean, we have poverty more than most people know. We have a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness, and we need to create solutions to those problems and offer people a hand up to change their situation. And I think in Boulder we have a unique opportunity as compared to other parts of the country because we have such an intelligent, caring, generous community that's a community of action and wants to be leaders. And in Boulder we can take these examples and run with them, and I think can make great progress on solving our problems.
You can find more information about the conference on world affairs at colorado.edu/CWA. To learn more about what's happening in Boulder regarding what the needy really need, log on to boulderbridgehouse.org. Rental property owners, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations affected by the September flood may be eligible for newly available funds. The Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program will award grants and loans on a first-come, first-served basis. The application period is limited to 45 days, so it's important to begin preparing application materials now. More information about the program, eligibility requirements, and application checklist is available online. For additional help navigating the process, the city has prepared answers to frequently asked questions at bouldercolorado.gov/business. Thank you for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter by submitting news tips and questions. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe.